Dragons were once considered pure myth. But if they are only legends, then why was one found chained inside a private home? Why did a massive creature as large as an entire building wash up on a beach in broad daylight? And why was another one found frozen solid in the Himalayas? Just in the past few days, a series of strange videos have been sent directly to mystery files. Footage that appeared one after another, then vanished without a trace.
Could they really exist, hidden from public view? Watch until the end to decide for yourself.
This first case started very quietly, until a video filmed by Daniel Harper began circulating in American cryptid and anomaly groups. Daniel is a forestry technician. His daily job is to inspect forest health and document wildlife inside Umpqua National Forest, a dense, damp woodland known for heavy morning fog.
According to Daniel, that morning he went alone deeper into the forest to photograph tree damage after rainfall. While moving between large tree trunks, he heard a strange sound overhead.
It did not sound like a bird, and it did not sound like a helicopter or aircraft. The noise was low, heavy, and rhythmic, enough to make him stop on instinct. When he looked up, Daniel saw a large winged creature gliding slowly through the treetops before landing on a tall tree not far from him. I will be honest, if that were me, I would have frozen exactly the same way. In the video, the creature has a long body wrapped partially around the trunk, thick, leathery wings folded down its sides, no feathers, and a dark surface. Its head is narrow, its neck curved downward, matching classic descriptions of a Western dragon. Daniel did not move closer. He slowly backed away, keeping the camera low. With his experience in the forest, he knew this was not something to provoke. After several seconds, the creature spread its wings and disappeared into the fog.
Daniel left the area immediately and reported the incident. But to this day, no official explanation has been given.
This next clip is one I came across close to midnight, and I could not look away. Strangely enough, it also takes place in Oregon. According to the information shared with the viral footage, Ethan Miller was working an early shift at Cannon Beach after a powerful overnight storm when he noticed a massive shape lying near the waterline.
At first, he assumed it was a whale carcass or a large marine animal washed ashore. But as he approached, Ethan realized the body structure looked nothing like anything he had seen during years of rescue work.
The creature was estimated to be over 30 feet long, with a thick body, large scales, a ridge of sharp spines running from neck to tail, and a pair of enormous folded wings that could have covered a wide section of the beach if spread. In the clip, the creature is completely still, yet it does not resemble a decomposing carcass. That alone was enough to keep people at a distance. Within minutes, locals and tourists gathered, standing several feet away, speaking quietly, no one daring to touch it. What struck me most was the atmosphere. There was no panic, just the feeling of standing in front of something too large to process. Ethan stopped filming as the tide rose and radioed the incident in. What makes this case so controversial is not just how closely the creature resembles Western dragons from European folklore, but the unanswered question:
if this is real, what happens to bodies like this? Who has authority to secure them, study them, or remove them? And if you return hours later and nothing remains on the sand, what vanished may not just be a creature, but the last physical proof of a legend.
Dragons have always been described as elusive beings, and if they truly exist, it would make sense for them to appear in remote, inaccessible regions. That is exactly what makes this circulating clip so unsettling. The footage is believed to have been recorded on the northern slopes of the Himalayas, near the Nepal-Tibet border.
The frame is filled with snow, violent winds, and low visibility, and in the center lies a massive creature, completely encased in ice.
According to the shared description, Tenzin Norbu and Rahul Singh were surveying a new ice route at an altitude above 13,000 feet when they noticed what they first thought was an unusual rock formation. Only when they approached did the shape become unmistakable. A long head with a partially open jaw, large exposed teeth, a spine lined with sharp ridges, and thick, leathery wings pinned to the body by layers of ice and snow. In the footage, the two men stand close. Rahul holds measuring equipment, while Tenzin points toward the head, speaking quietly, his voice shaking from cold and fear. The ice layer is thick and weathered, suggesting the creature did not arrive recently, but had been frozen there long enough to be slowly consumed by the mountain. What links this case so strongly to Western dragons is its form. Not serpent-like, not whiskered, but massive, winged, exactly as depicted in medieval European manuscripts.
And the familiar question returns. If this is real, who would reach it first? Scientists? Military forces? Or would it vanish silently like so many other anomalies?
This story did not come from a major channel, nor was it something I actively searched for. It arrived as a private message late at night, with a short note. Please look at this. I do not know if what I am seeing is real. The sender was Javier Morales, 34 years old, who works with reptiles and exotic animals at a private holding facility outside Seville, southern Spain. According to Javier, the clip was recorded in early summer of 2024 inside a restricted test enclosure behind the property.
From the very first seconds, something felt wrong. The area is fenced with bamboo and wood, with a small artificial pond in the center.
On dry ground, a long-bodied creature with a pointed head and spined back crawls slowly, moving exactly like a miniature Western dragon. Behind it lies a second, larger individual near the water. Javier said he initially assumed it was some kind of hybrid reptile, until the front creature released a short burst of flame, brief but clearly visible on camera. I replayed that moment several times, not out of disbelief, but because there are no visible effects, no cheering, no staged reactions. And the question that stayed with me was simple.
If this is real, how many similar creatures are being kept in closed facilities, never disclosed to the public? Maybe dragons never disappeared. Maybe we were just never meant to see them.
This clip was reportedly filmed in a remote pine valley in the eastern Swiss Alps in late summer of 2023. What makes it disturbing is not only the massive creature lying in the open field, but what happens next. The cameraman, Lucas Meyer, 27 years old, a geology student, was zooming in on the landscape when he accidentally captured two men standing beside a white dragon whose wings were slowly moving. They were not dressed like hikers, no large backpacks. Their clothing suggested familiarity with the terrain. Moments later, Lucas zoomed closer and saw the creature begin to move. Not thrashing, just slow, heavy movements, as if responding to guidance. The two men positioned themselves near its head and neck, gesturing continuously while leading it toward a specific direction along the valley edge, where dense forest blocked the view. The creature rose, its size fully visible, and was led away, literally disappearing into the trees. No trail, no destination. Only steep terrain. The most chilling moment comes when the camera starts shaking. Lucas later said another man appeared behind him, never fully visible, but close enough to firmly signal for him to stop recording and leave immediately. No shouting, no threats. Just calm, enforcement. The video ends abruptly as Lucas lowers the camera.
Hours later, the clip was removed and the account set to private. If this event was real, was the geology student forced away because he saw something not meant for the world to see?
The next clip no longer takes place in deep forests or remote valleys. It was filmed inside an ordinary home. Red tile floors, old walls, dim lighting. A familiar living space, so normal that it takes a few seconds for the viewer to realize that what is lying against the wall is not a normal pet. The person who uploaded the clip is Oluwaseun Adeyemi, 31 years old, an electrician living in Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria.
According to him, the video was recorded in early 2024 after a neighbor called him over to check an electrical issue because there was something strange inside the house.
In the frame, a short-bodied creature with a pointed head and small spines. Along its back is pressed into the corner. What sent chills down my spine was the metal chain locked tightly around its neck, secured to the doorframe. The creature is not aggressive. It does not thrash or attack. It slowly turns its head, eyes wide open, breathing heavily.
Oluwaseun said he first thought it was a monitor lizard or a baby crocodile, until he looked closely at the head shape and skin structure.
It matched Western dragon illustrations far too closely, just at a smaller scale. Shortly after the clip went viral, another news segment surfaced showing a similar creature referred to as a baby dragon found in the same region. Local residents gathered nearby, fearful yet curious. I could not help but wonder if this were just a rare reptile. Why was it chained inside a private home? And why did no one dare to publicly explain where it came from?
The most disturbing moment comes when Oluwaseun stops recording and says quietly, "They told me not to film anymore." Legends have long claimed that raising a dragon brings power, wealth, and protection. But in exchange, the owner must live in secrecy, fear, and silence, never allowing the truth to surface.
This is one of the most widely shared dragon videos on YouTube. What makes it unique is that it did not come from a paranormal investigator or a sensational channel. It was uploaded by St. Peter's C of E Primary School in the town of Farnworth, Greater Manchester, in 2018.
According to the original description, the clip was recorded completely by accident, while a local resident was filming the dark sky before an approaching storm.
Against the gray clouds, a winged shape becomes clearly visible, moving slowly. It does not resemble an aircraft, and it does not resemble a bird. The body is long, the tail trails behind, and the wings extend outward in a very distinct curve. The person filming does not overzoom or add effects. They simply hold the camera steady by instinct. That normal, unforced reaction is what makes the video so difficult to dismiss.
What made the video explode was the reaction afterward. Hundreds of comments from Farnworth residents claimed they saw the same thing at the same time.
Some said the creature flew low enough to clearly make out its shape before disappearing into the clouds. One detail stood out to me. No one described it as a UFO. Nearly all of them used the same word, dragon. Of course, some suggested it was a large bird, a model aircraft, or a cloud illusion. But none of those explanations fully account for the shape and motion seen in the clip. And the strangest part is that the video has never been removed or flagged, despite attracting tens of thousands of views. To this day, the clip titled "Dragon Sighting over Farnworth" remains online as an open question. No confirmation, no denial. Just quietly sitting on YouTube, reminding us that sometimes what unsettles us most is not what does not exist, but what may have existed right above our heads on an ordinary day.
If you want to continue exploring cases like these, subscribe to Mystery Files right now. Because what comes next may be even harder to believe than what you have just seen.
There are some videos where just a few seconds are enough to know that what you are seeing is not normal. This clip was recorded in Dallas, Texas, in the middle of a busy city filled with traffic and tightly packed buildings. Not a place anyone would expect to see a massive flying creature.
The person filming gives no explanation, no background, simply points the camera upward. And then, everything becomes difficult to explain.
Perched on top of a structure resembling a radio tower is a massive creature. Not a bird, not an aircraft. The way it stands and the scale of its body compared to the structure beneath it make one thing immediately clear. This is not a juvenile. When it flaps its wings, the true size becomes undeniable, and that moment sent a chill through me. The filmer stands far away, but that distance actually helps reveal the scale. This is a creature far too large to be mistaken for any bird native to North America. Then the dragon takes off. No panic, no rush. It rises calmly, almost casually, as if appearing over Dallas is completely ordinary. When the camera zooms out, we see a busy road below. Drivers may not even notice what is happening above them. That detail is what truly lingers. How many times have impossible things passed right over us simply because we never looked up?
Do dragons exist in the southern United States? I do not know. But this clip makes that question harder to dismiss than before.
The Monterey case did not begin with a massive creature in the sky, but with a very close and very uncomfortable encounter. A group of people exploring a wilderness area stumbled upon a strange creature, unlike anything they had ever seen.
Their first instinct was not to run, but to contain it and try to understand what it was. That decision is what caused this story to spread across Mexico.
The creature in the footage is small enough to be held. That may sound less frightening, but looking closer tells a different story. It does not attack or struggle violently, but it repeatedly opens its mouth wide and emits sharp, piercing sounds, as if calling out or attempting to communicate. I noticed how cautiously the people around it behaved. No rough handling, no dismissal. They treated it like something that deserved respect, even without knowing what it was. Eventually, they placed it inside a pet carrier while waiting for authorities to arrive. From that moment on, Mexican media began referring to it as the Monterey Dragon. What stands out is what happened next. The creature vanished from official reports. No conclusions, no follow-up images, no explanations.
I have always believed that stories ending in silence are the ones that stay with us the longest. If this were a normal animal, why was nothing publicly confirmed? And if it was not, then what exactly was placed inside that carrier?
Some videos do not need dramatic sound or rapid narration. All they need is a dark sky and heavy fog to create unease. Peto's clip fits that description perfectly. Uploaded in May during extremely poor weather, the scene begins normally until a massive shape passes behind the treetops. The creature does not have the obvious bat-like wings seen in other clips, but its sheer size immediately commands attention. When it circles and spreads its wings across the dark sky, you can feel the weight of its body. This is not light or mechanical like a drone. The bad weather limits the footage to just a few seconds before the dragon disappears behind thick clouds, as if the sky itself is hiding it. I find myself wondering whether clear weather would have given us better footage, or whether harsh conditions are exactly why sightings like this remain so rare. Where did it come from? And more importantly, where was it going?
That is the question this clip leaves behind, and one that still has no answer.
Dragons do not always appear in forests or mountains. Sometimes they appear over rooftops, between power lines and antennas. This video of a bat-winged dragon was recorded somewhere in the United States.
The exact location is unknown, but the surroundings are unmistakable. Low rooftops, overhead wires, a typical residential neighborhood.
The creature crosses the frame slowly, calmly, without panic. That calmness is what draws attention. Its wings are thin, long, and sharply angled, resembling bat wings, but the size alone rules out any bat. No flying animal in North American residential areas has a wingspan like that. I noticed how steady its altitude remains, as if it is familiar with flying through this space rather than lost. After a few seconds, the dragon appears to notice something below. A sound, movement, or light. It changes direction and disappears behind a house, completely out of sight. No loud noise, no chaos, just a clean disappearance. That made me think about survival. A creature that size would need vast territory and constant food. If it exists, it cannot be the only one.
Perhaps one day, when the sky is clear and enough people look up at the right moment, we will see it again, passing overhead as if it never left.
Some walks feel ordinary until you look up and see something your mind cannot process. That is how the Pennsylvania case began. A man walking casually looked up and noticed a flying shape high above.
At first, it resembled a bird, but the longer he watched, the more wrong it felt. That is when he began filming.
The footage shows a form that made many viewers stop and look closely. A slender body, elongated, more reptilian than avian. A long, pointed tail with no feather spread. And most importantly, wings. Not feathered wings, but large, stretched membrane wings, exactly like those seen in Western dragon illustrations. I noticed that the creature does not jerk or drift with the wind. It maintains a steady course, as if gliding intentionally. The filmer becomes so absorbed that he moves closer, a risky but very human decision. That choice makes the footage valuable, because the reduced distance reveals proportions and wing movement more clearly.
If this were CGI, why choose such a plain setting? No effects, no music, no dramatization. And if it is real, the more unsettling question is how long it had been flying there before anyone noticed, and how many times similar creatures have crossed the sky unnoticed.
The final case is not shaky footage or a flying creature, but something that triggers the imagination. An image captured by the Curiosity rover on Mars shows what appears to be the fossilized remains of a creature. At first glance, it looks like rock, but closer analysis reveals distinct features: a visible spine, a head structure that feels strangely familiar, and an overall shape resembling fire-breathing winged dragons from ancient folklore.
I remember my first reaction was not belief or disbelief, but discomfort. Something about the image feels too familiar.
When enhanced and colorized, the similarities to the Komodo dragon on Earth become hard to ignore. Body structure, head proportions, spinal posture, everything suggests a large, resilient reptile adapted to harsh environments. This is where the question opens wider. If Mars once supported life, could it have supported larger creatures than we expect? And if so, are dragons truly fictional? Or are they fragmented memories of creatures that once existed, perhaps not even on Earth? You may be looking at an ancestor of the Komodo dragon, or you may be looking at evidence of a creature from another world. Either way, this image makes the boundary between science and myth thinner than ever. Before leaving this video, I want to ask you something directly. Do you believe the creatures shown in these clips actually exist? And have you ever personally witnessed or heard someone describe a similar unexplained sighting?
If so, share your story in the comments. because you may not be the only one. If you want to keep following cases like these, subscribe to Mystery Files and turn on notifications. We will be back with more footage, more stories that have never been told, and possibly what you have seen today is only the beginning.